No. How do I position the microphone and be able to see the game? Ah, oh, I haven't thought this far ahead. So if you're not familiar with this game or you haven't seen my previous videos on it, then quick crash course of the history is for the last 10 years I have been developing a board game. That board game is now Trouble on the Tempus. Well, it's always been Trouble on the Tempus, but now it is officially Trouble on the Tempus. Last year we started a company, Minor Disaster Games, and we are officially going to be releasing the game under that name once the Kickstarter launches later this year, hopefully in the summer around the UK Games Expo. The game's gone through various iterations. We were at the UK Games Expo last year with a starter stand where we were displaying it for the first time, and thanks to being relatively active on social media, people were aware of us from the get-go. So we've been pushing the game hard since then as a team, and now we have what this is here, the manufacturer's prototype. This is not 100% the final version of the game, but it's as close as we're going to get until we're actually making it, until it's actually being produced in full. I'm going to crack it open, we can have a look at it in a second, but basically this is it. We're sort of in the end game now, as it were. Box art's fairly solid. The components are basically what they're going to be, just going to be a slightly higher quality once we start making mass producing it. This is 10 years on and off of labour for me, and hard labour for the last few years for us as a team, just trying to get this put together. I'm currently testing the rulebook at the moment, so I'm going out to playtest events and other conventions, and we're seeing if people can learn the game from the rules, make sure that we've got everything that makes sense and is compiled and all works together. But yeah, outside of that, then we are just waiting to get to a point where we can launch the Kickstarter. We just need to get our following up, and be confident that we can hit our targets. I'll talk probably more about that at some point. For now, I just want to crack this open. We've got a few of these, but I just want to crack this one open. I'm going to switch to the overhead camera and the camera you can see in the background there to do that. But yeah, this is all good. This is actually quite a good mic position, actually. I wonder if I might leave it like this. So I'm actually recording this at the end of my recording session today, because suddenly occurred to me it might be causing some confusion, but the quick explanation for Trouble on the Tempus is that it is a cooperative game, so in your styles of your kind of pandemic games, so your players are working together versus the game. You're working as the crew of the Tempus spaceship, trying to fix the ship before it explodes so that you can pilot it home. The gimmick being that the ship is also a time machine, so the way it works is that you can move about trying to fix the ship, but as things get too much, as things begin to explode around you, you can activate the ship's time drive to time travel back to the beginning of the game and try again. So you push your luck to learn as much about the future of the game as you can, time travel back with that knowledge, and then try and puzzle out the most efficient way to keep the ship afloat long enough for you to win the game. And you can only do that 3 times. So you can cause 3 time travels, because you can cause paradoxes each time that you do it, and the third paradox will cause you to blink out of existence. Hopefully we've got a nice fun puzzle for players to deliver it over. We have found that it doesn't suffer from a lot of quarterbacking, which is one player kind of playing the game for everybody, which a lot of cooperative games do. But yeah, I will talk about the full rules explanation at some point in the future. I won't put it in this video. This is just going to be an unboxing video, which you can see I've strategically hidden the fact that we've already unboxed everything behind me there. But yeah, I just wanted to add that in because I didn't want any confusion as to what the game is. So it's a cooperative game about fixing your spaceship, which also happens to be a time machine. Who doesn't love time travel? Okay, so this is a new camera setup for me. I haven't tested this before, but I think it looks pretty good. I've had to swap out my black tablecloth for this grey one because this cheap camera up here did not want to focus on the black. The black was deeply confusing it, but now it seems a little bit happier. So yes, so this is our box. This is our box art that my brother, who, if you're unfamiliar, the company is made up of me as the designer of the game, my wife, who does all of our admin and the clever stuff. She's a producer, she knows how to do that, and my brother, who does the graphic design. He's a graphic designer by trade. So this is his box art that he's been working on for ages. With all of us kind of pitching in ideas, but yeah, this is the broken timeline. As you can see, this shattered various different multiverse timelines going on here. So this is very cool. It's not like 100% the box art, so this is all here. I think this is, we're going to maybe put the playtime up, I'm not sure, but it might just be a teaching issue. We've got the back, which is again not 100% complete. It needs some logos and disclaimers and like credits and stuff on it, but yeah, this is more or less what the game's going to look like. It's a nice sized box, but the interesting stuff really is going to be inside, isn't it? So let's get rid of that. Let's pop that over there. We have our mock rulebook. Obviously it's blank because we haven't finished the rulebook yet, but they include a mock rulebook just so you can see for space purposes how it might fit in. So that's useful. Chuck that over there for a minute. I'm not sure why there's a little stray piece of white token in there. I don't think that's anything, but I will put that aside. And now we see our components. So we have our disaster components first. Now this is good thick. Let me pop one of these out. Good thick chunky. If you've seen the gameplay before, the all the little bits we have, they're really tiny. So we've got these tiny little tokens. In fact, let me grab one. So at the moment, from the board game makers, nothing. This is what we got made the first time, which is these tiny little, as you can see under. Hopefully that goes in focus there. As you can see, could put it in the palm of my hand. This little tiny token there. Whereas now we've got these big chunky tokens. These are proving very difficult to manipulate sometimes. They're convenient because obviously they're a small size. You can put lots of them in, but you know they're just not very good. Also, we didn't double-sided print them, which was our mistake. But yeah, now we've got these big, thick, chunky. You can see how thick that is by comparison. Chunky disaster tokens instead, which are much nicer to play with. They're much nicer. I need to actually prepare this because I'm going to be taking it to the playtest in Waterloo on Friday. So I'm actually going to pop a bunch of this. Look at all these lovely chunky pieces. I hope it's. I mean, it's hard to say because we sort of know it, but I hope that people don't find that too similar. But I really like them. Pop all of fire. Pop, 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 pop. But what we have that we didn't have in the previous versions is these standees. So before we were just using pawns, just like a sort of pandemic style pawns. But now we have these lovely standees. Look at that. Nice, huge things, big chunky things. Lovely. Just to differentiate the characters, different player characters, what character powers you have. Everyone, there's a unique one for every different player character. So they're going to be super easy to distinguish. You're never going to get confused who is who. They'll be in little bases. We've got little bases that I assume are in the box still. But yeah, these are going to be brilliant. These are a big increase. These are a big change that we are. These are a big change that we are very excited about. These little standee people for moving about the board. They are a huge boon now. And this hasn't been opened before, but this copy, we've opened a copy to like see what's going on inside, but this particular copy has not been opened before, so it is genuinely new. I took the plastic off 2 seconds ago, just before I started filming. I wish this would stop auto-adjusting itself. I need to get a better replacement camera for this because it auto-adjusts way too much. But now, I think I'm going to move this out of the way. We're going to get into the big thing. So this has changed quite a bit. Let me put it on my desk there. This is the board, as you can probably work out. This has changed somewhat. What's the best way to put this around? If I put it that way around, should do it the other way around. Right, what's the correct way for camera? That way up. Right, here's the reveal of the final design of the board. Ta-da! There we are. Ooh. Look at that, that's the folding board. Now, we have been playing, if you've been seen at conventions and at events and things, you have seen us playing with the rolling mat. We will be offering the rolling mat on the Kickstarter, but it will cost more. It's cheaper to mass manufacture the folding board, and it looks nice. But yeah, if you want the fancy rolling mat, it will be an extra on the Kickstarter. So yeah, you still will be able to get that, don't worry, but yeah, it will cost a little bit more. But yeah, here's the board. This is the final design of the board. You can see we've made the walls a bit darker so it's clearer where they are. People weren't always assuming that walls were walls, dotted lines and doors weren't. People sometimes got mixed up. We've also got all of the actions you can take on the board now printed on the board. Handy little blue sections for useful things you can do, and red for bad things that can happen. The useful stuff is all over here and the bad stuff is generally in this corner here. But yeah, that's the lovely new board. We've got the shields track now instead of the damage track. If you've been at recent ones when we've changed that rules to shields, I've been having to explain if you see the word shields it actually means damage, but now it has the shields track, which was its own unique token. Here it is, which will start at full and then go slowly count down to explosion. With disaster cards, with the disaster discard and the paradox discard, because people kept getting confused about where the paradox discard was going, so I said, well, let's just write the names on the boards. We have no more spelling mistakes, so it says shield generator instead of shield generator, which is said in the playthrough that's on this channel, which is actually the first time anybody noticed that. But yeah, that's our fantastic board. Let's get our box back. It's our beautiful, beautiful board. Look at it. It really pops. Right, so you got little standees for our people. I'll do those in a second. And we've got all our varying card decks. And this insert I actually really like. We've seen this before when we opened the other copy just to check it. But yeah, it's like a perfect sized insert for everything that fits in and fits neatly on top. So that's I like that a lot. I know it might feel like a minor point, but if you're a board game collector, you will know that a good insert is sometimes key. You don't want the Fantasy Flight trench that they put in all their games for some reason, and it's almost always the first thing I throw away because it's such a useless insert. Right, let's look at some components. Right, so we have, let me slide this off. This is going to be our disaster deck. Now the disaster deck has changed a little bit for anyone that has played the game. It's been updated and had some new effects added to it and made a little bit harder. So fire spreading is a little bit more prevalent. Oh, doors locking. We've added more of those because that wasn't happening enough. You can still occasionally luck out in the game and draw cards that just don't do anything, because there are some effects that are very contingent on what's already going on the board. So sometimes you get lucky, but yeah, generally the game got the game to a point where it's hard. It's like hard enough that you cannot win it on the first attempt. We want a sort of 50% win rate, I think, is what we were trying to aim for like the learner session, the learner version. So that's sort of hopefully what we've achieved. Let me pop that on the disaster space there. And we've got our major disasters, our explosion cards, including the newly added explosion in short corridor. And if it's the most convenient camera to see that one on is. But yeah, explosion in short corridor. So now this short corridor here can explode. So that's fun. We've narrowed the hyperdrive cards. There was like a bunch more of these at some point, but we've narrowed it down to these 5. These are kind of the 5 that work best, and we'll add more as we go on. But yeah, these are the key 5 hyperdrive disaster cards, which is the card that you draw at the beginning of the game to determine how you're supposed to win the game. Our paradox card deck has gotten massive. Our paradox card is now huge. There's loads of paradox. I wanted this to be as unpredictable as possible, so there's now is there 10 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. There's now 11 paradox cards, so there's going to make that extremely unpredictable because you only ever use 2 in a game, and then the lost in the void card that causes you to blink out of existence. But yeah, there's now just a bunch extra of these that some of which have not been played as much, but their concepts are relatively simple. Oh, character cards. These have changed a bit. Some of their character powers have had to be adjusted. These have been very hard to balance, the character powers, because they can occasionally break the game. And one of them is still a little bit overpowered, but it's very hard to sort of adjust it that way. But yeah, this is again, in the right combination of characters and cards that are drawn, sometimes it just works out lucky in your favor. But generally speaking, we've managed to balance the 8 characters pretty well. But we've got their brand shiny new cards, which I've probably had, in terms of design, the least amount of change over the years. It's pretty solid design on there. So that's those there. This is another change. So we've got our item cards are now color coordinated to their rooms. So the electric tool now matches the colors of the room. So the fire extinguisher are now in grey to match the corridor. Some of them are already correctly placed, but yeah, the toolkits are now orange to match the engineering. The spacesuit's green to match the airlock. The body armor was already blue, but now it just matches the space anyway. And the exoskeleton is that lighter bluey green to match space. So they're now color coordinated, because a lot of people said that they would like that. So yeah, so we've now matched the item cards to the colors of the spaces, which I think makes it look a bit neat. Let me look at the thing. Yeah, it looks nice and neat. Let's get some of these characters and bases. So now you can see that there's the standees that move about the board. Let me angle this camera down a bit so we can have a better look at that. So yeah, now you can see that the standees on the board look much nicer than the little pawns from Pandemic. And you can easily distinguish, which character is which, where they are. It also has added for a couple of extra things that we can do with in relation to to where you specifically know where your standee is. But yeah, it just looks nicer on the board, doesn't it? Look at that. The last thing I have, which is a brand new addition, although I had like homemade ones at the time, is the reference sheet. So we have a reference card now for the players, so the players' actions and the consequence phase. So basically the rounds of the game, as well as a reference for all the characters' actions. So I think that accompanied with the actions being printed on the board now is going to make playing the game a lot easier. And that is the prototype, the last prototype before the game is properly being manufactured. It is. Let me load all these guys down so you can see them on the top camera. Yeah, it's very exciting times. We have been, like I say, I've been working on this for 10 years, and then we have, as a company, have been working on it for the last few. Officially kind of launching last year, and we just really hope to be able to bring this game to your gaming shelf very soon. So we're going to be at the UK Games Expo in May, very end of May, the last weekend of May. Starts on the 30th of May, goes to the 1st of June. So we're going to be there at the UK Games Expo. We've got a full stand this time. We'll have 2 copies of the game running all day. So you should be able to come and get a game in, a playthrough or it's not a play test as such, but a demo. That's the word I was looking for. So a demo will likely last about an hour. If there's no rush, and you can maybe play a full longer game. We'll also hopefully, I haven't got a full plan, but we'll hopefully be demoing some expansion things that we're going to include on the Kickstarter as well. So that's going to be probably not at our stand because we're still trying to gain new people. But yeah, if you're about, I will have some kind of schedule in the hotel later. Either we'll be in the Hilton or be in our hotel, which is within walking distance. We'll be demoing expansion specific stuff, so stuff that hasn't been seen yet. And that should because we've got to get that out in the public eye at some point. But yeah, that's stuff that will be included in the Kickstarter. But yeah, the base game as it is, we are pretty solidly happy with. We are really happy with the rules, happy with how everything's going. It's just a case of trying to get it to a point where it all makes sense to an outsider, because obviously we've been dealing with it for years. We know the game inside and out. It's got to make sense to people who have never seen the game before, never heard the game before. So that's where we're at the moment. But yeah, you can find us at UK episode. We're going to be at Paradise at the end of this month. So the end of March, Paradise. I'm checking my calendar, which is the 29th and the 30th of March. We're in Paradise, again with this lovely shiny copy, demoing that. I'm probably going to be at HandyCon. We're not demoing at HandyCon, but I will probably still be there. And I'm talking to them about maybe having the game sort of available. So I'll be there. But yeah, between that, it's just Paradise, and then it's pretty much just straight to the UK Games Expo. We've got a few events in May as well. So we're hoping to go to do this board game circus event, as well as an event at D20 in Watford. Just kind of come and play the game events, and then we'll be building up to the launch of the Kickstarter just before the UK Games Expo, which, as I said, starts on the 30th of May. So the UK Games Expo in Birmingham, which is the 3rd biggest board game convention in the world, I believe, or it's up there somewhere. It's definitely behind Essen and Spiel and Gen Con. It's behind those two, but I think it's the 3rd biggest in the world. But yes, it's really good, really great event, and hopefully we will see you there. But yeah, that's our game, our unboxing, our full video unboxing. You may have seen a little teaser for that on our Instagram or floating about, but that's the full unboxing you have just experienced, and it's very exciting. I look forward to playing it more. Now we've got the full copy, getting it out into the hands of the public, because we've had a lot of good feedback, a lot of buzz around the game, and I really hope it continues. So thank you for watching. You can get another clearer look at the standees maybe from this angle. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you found that interesting and exciting as we did to unbox our game. And you can now see the more or less final version behind me. But yeah, this is all very cool. Again, I will keep posting about the upcoming conventions and things that we're at. We're not able to leave the UK. We can't afford to go to Gen Con or whatever, to example. So sorry for that. But hopefully, yeah, in the future, maybe next year, we'll see where we're at. So yeah, thank you for watching. Please do follow the Kickstarter link below, so you can go to, if it's not, Kickstarter hasn't launched yet, you can still follow us on the upcoming projects, so you can click to be notified of when it does go live. If it is live by the time you're watching this, then please check it out, and if you like the look of it, please please buy a copy of the game. It would be incredible. So yeah, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, do all the YouTube things, check out my other videos. There's a couple of playthroughs of this on the channel, as well as some more detailed videos, and I will do a full rules explanation soon. But yeah, that's all for now. I guess I will now go pack my game away, ready to next play it on my next playtest group. That's going to be an interesting day. Thanks for watching. The end.